Hey guys, welcome back to this channel. Now I'm going to make a video on how you can buy on localcoinswap.com. Now for those who aren't familiar, localcoinswap is a place where you can do peer-to-peer trading without KYC. Now I got a bit of flack in a previous video of mine when I described local coin swap as non-KYC. So let me just straighten this out real quick. To sign up to the website, it doesn't require any personal information. All you need to provide is your email, and I think if you want to be a seller, maybe you have to provide your mobile. It's been a while since I've done that, but there are a lot of services that you can use online. So you can buy an OTP service, so you can get like an anonymous phone number that is used just for like an OTP once, and that allows you to sign up. Or you can find some other method, but yeah, if you're just buying, then you just really need your email. So someone that was having a complaint before that there is KYC required if you open up a trade with one of these buyers here. So you don't need KYC to sign up to the to the website, but if you open a trade with one of these sellers here, they might ask you for more personal information. So let me just clear this up real quick. So yes, you don't have to sign up, you don't have to give KYC when you sign up to the website, but there are a number of different payment methods here. There are like hundreds of different payment methods all around the world. They're very different to each other. You've got payment methods in every country around the world, every currency, different cryptocurrencies. And some of the sellers might ask you for some information. So what I do know is that when it comes to bank transfers, frequently sellers may in fact ask you for more personal information like KYC stuff, because they're worried about chargeback scams. So basically what that means is when someone sends the funds to you, you always have the opportunity to call your bank and say, oh, I never received the goods or services or whatever, and as a result people can get scammed from that, so they might ask for KYC. But if you've got a problem with KYC, which is understandable, just go find a seller that doesn't ask this kind of information. And bank transfers are the only one that is more likely to ask for this kind of thing. But if you don't want to do any KYC whatsoever, there are a lot of payment methods that don't require that. In fact, most of the, got to be like 90% of all the other ones don't require any personal information whatsoever. So, and some of them will maybe they do have a bank transfer, but they're not requiring any personal information. So I'm just looking for you real quick which ones don't. So TransferWise is one that it doesn't require any KYC. Payoneer doesn't require KYC. What else? Alipay doesn't require KYC. Revolut doesn't require KYC, etc., etc. So this is a bit of a, you're gonna have to go to local coin swap and just go to the Buy Crypto button and just search for the offers and just see what the terms and conditions are. So I'm just clicking on this random one. This guy doesn't say whether he wants KYC or not, so you don't really know. So you just kind of got to ask, but yeah, as I mentioned, it's really a minority of payment methods, mainly bank transfers, that are much more strict about this stuff. So things that involve banks tend to require KYC, but there's a lot of things that don't require it. And as I mentioned, Wise, Revolut, Payoneer, Skrill, PayPal, most of these here don't require any at all. And even things like a bank transfer or whatever, if you're willing to pay more, there's someone that's willing to do it without KYC. Now guys, before I continue, if you're interested in using local coin swap and using some of the ideas that I'm going to share with you now, make sure to use my referral link in the description down below. Make sure you sign up and then come back and finish this video. I can give you a special deal on trading fees, and I think that using local coin swap and other peer-to-peer crypto exchanges are the best way of buying cryptocurrency without KYC. So let's get into it. So I'm just going to show you here a trade that I've done to give you a good illustration about how it works. So put yourself in my shoes. You've browsed through and you found an offer that you like. You found a payment method that you can use. There isn't any KYC. So yeah, let's just get on with it. So in this case, I'm buying $400 worth of Litecoin, and I've opened up a trade with this person, and you see here, do not pay seller yet, escrow is not funded. So this is a very important thing to pay attention to. Your trade will be protected as long as you send when escrow is complete. So what is escrow real quick? Well, as I've mentioned in previous videos, an easy example to talk about is that, like, let's just say you meet a random person, say on Telegram, and you arrange to make a trade, right? Like, you're gonna buy $400 worth of Litecoin from him. So what happens when you send your funds via TransferWise to this random person on Telegram? Well, once he's received those funds, he has no leverage to send the funds to you. Now, again, we could talk about how it's on his honor or whatever to send the funds to you, but the reality is it's crypto. It's just online world. People are untrustworthy. You shouldn't trust people in general. What you should do is you should have some mechanism in place, making it so it's an even situation, because whoever goes first, whether it's the buyer who's sending the fiat funds first, or whether it's the seller sending the funds first, whoever sends first has leverage, is basically at a disadvantage compared to the other person, because the person who first receives those funds can run away and doesn't have to do anything. So that's what the escrow mechanism is. So the escrow is, you could consider it like a third-party wallet that sits between the buyer and the seller, and this will make it so that the seller has to put his funds down first into this third-party wallet, and then once it's there, then the buyer can feel safe to send the funds to the seller. And then once the seller confirms that the funds have been received, then the funds in this third-party escrow wallet will go to the buyer, and it's easy. And then what's good is that if ever there's a situation where there's a dispute between the buyer and the seller, the mod can step in and arbitrate this dispute. So most of the time you don't have to worry about this. The big thing is, if you're a buyer, you're really protected. It's usually the seller that has to worry about the buyer, but the reason why is because the seller, if you're dealing with anybody, it's because that person's got high amounts of feedback, and that's something to pay attention to. Just deal with people with high amounts of feedback, and you can guarantee that you're dealing with a trusted person, and the chances of you ending up in a dispute with a seller is like really low, especially if you're dealing with someone with a high amount of feedback. So the payment method here is TransferWise, and you're gonna have to talk with the seller. This is something I need to mention real quick. Like, this is a full this is a frontal experience, right? Like, this isn't done like behind like some closed curtain. You actually have to communicate with the seller, and usually it doesn't require much because that seller has got like information on his page, but generally speaking it's very simple, right? So the seller, you just want to make sure that person's there. So I'm saying hi now, and then I'm waiting for him to, okay, so he's responded, and this is very particular to this particular scenario in regards to buying cryptocurrency with Wise. He just wants to clarify the trading conditions. So he's saying Wise to Wise. So this is a very common terminology when it comes to peer-to-peer trading. So when someone says Wise to Wise means that you're sending funds to his Wise account from your Wise account with funds that are already on Wise. Now, this is differentiated from, say, when someone uses their Wise account to initiate a bank transfer with funds in like a separate bank account, because, you know, you can connect your bank account to a Wise account, and what people can do is that they can actually send funds to someone else using their Wise account as kind of like a conduit for their bank account. And sellers don't like this because, first, it's not instant, and second, it's prone to chargebacks. So the person who is sending those funds via their bank transfer can always like essentially get their funds back, and it will cause the seller to have problems with his account. So instant transfers by Wise to Wise is very safe for the seller. So that's what they say. And it's not just Wise to Wise, this applies to many different payment methods. So another one might be Payoneer to Payoneer. It's the same thing. Like, someone sending funds that are already on their Payoneer account to someone else's Payoneer account, which should be instant. Skrill to Skrill, Revolut to Revolut, PayPal to PayPal, Alipay to Alipay. So this is a very common trading method. People, if you've got a payment method, people want to send and receive directly on that platform. They don't want to use their account as like a conduit. So he just wants to make sure that I'm doing a wise-to-wise transfer, and I've already got funds on my account, because if I don't have funds on my account, then the assumption is that I'm sending it from my bank account, which is what he doesn't want. So I'm just skipping forward ahead here, just saying yes, and now it's on him to escrow the funds. Now, he might have funds already on localcoinswap.com in his wallet, or he might leave it on an exchange or some other place, maybe in cold storage. Generally, sellers don't like to keep funds on the exchange itself unless it's like they're dealing with tons of volume. So what they'll have to do is they'll have to send funds to the exchange, which hopefully doesn't take that long. Usually it's not a big deal. But once it arrives, he's then going to click a button that will allow him to escrow the funds. And then those funds pass from his wallet to like this third-party escrow wallet that I was talking about. So we're just waiting for that to be completed. So if we just wait for a moment here, it should finally be done. Just give it a moment. Okay, so when you see this particular thing here, this means that he's sending his funds into escrow, and once that bar is complete, then it'll be safe to send funds. But until it's completed, you don't want to send, you know, and I don't think anything bad will happen if you send prematurely, because he doesn't have access to those funds, he can't run away with it. But it's just good to know this is what's going on, and you can see that he sent this @ thing. This is his wise tag. And I can then go, when the escrow is completed, I can then go to my Wise account and input that Wise tag when I go to pay, and then I'm going to send him the agreed upon funds. And now there's just a bit of a glitch. This is a pre-recorded video for obvious reasons, but so as we can see now, the escrow is complete. It's now at the stage where it says buyer pays seller in USD. And you can see there's a lock symbol where it says safe for buyer to pay, escrow is funded. And for whatever problem that you may have, just remember, as long as you're sending and the escrow is locked in, it's totally safe to send. If you do it before then, it's a problem, right? But as long as you're following the instructions here, there's absolutely no problem. So now I can now go to my Wise account, and I can send using the Wise tag that has been provided for me. And then when I've done, I can click I've paid, right? And then once I paid the seller, he can then go check that it's actually received, and then he may ask for some further information. Now, when it comes to TransferWise, and this might be the case for other payment methods as well, it really varies depending on the payment method, but when it comes to Wise, the seller may ask a few other questions, and I'll explain that when we get to here. So here he says send a name. Now, what does that mean? So in this case on TransferWise, he wants to know the name of the person that sent the funds. Now, some of you may not like this, and that's understandable, and if this is such a problem for you to give your name, then you probably shouldn't use TransferWise. You can use Revolut, you can use Payoneer. But the reason why he asks for the name is because this is confirming that he's received funds, but he wants to make sure that you're the one that's actually sent it. And he's done this for a few reasons. So one reason might be that he's concerned that you're sending funds via third party, which means you could be a scammer. You could have called up some old grandma on the phone and said, hey, I'm the Prince of Nigeria, send funds to my friend's TransferWise account, and this person who is dealing could be like implicated, right? So he wants to make sure that it's actually you sending the funds and not someone else. The other thing is as well is that you don't know if this guy is dealing on multiple platforms at once. From what I can tell, this person's a fairly small seller, but there are sellers where I've encountered where, you know, they've got like 30,000 feedback. They've got like 10 trades going on at once. You know, I'm right now I've sent this person $400 via TransferWise. Who's to say that there's not like someone else out there who's also sent $400 to this person? And the mistake of like accidentally releasing funds to someone else when, you know, it was actually me, is like a big enough concern. And I'm sure it's happened to a bunch of these sellers. For them, it's just really important to ask, like confirm your sender name. And if there's something that makes you feel uncomfortable, a trick that you can use is maybe like give them an abbreviation. Maybe they'll accept that. So if your name is John Smith, just say my name is J.Smith, or maybe John.S, JS. See what you can get away with. Most of the time, you should be fine, and that's it. So pretty much, once he's confirmed that the funds have been received on his end, he's going to click a button that says, I've received funds, and it's going to go straight into my wallet. And here we go. So my pre-recorded video is kind of glitched out a little bit, but basically the seller has already confirmed that the funds have been received, and it should basically just go straight into my wallet. And that's basically how it works. I hope this has been informative for you. If you want to use local coin swap, where you can buy cryptocurrency using many different payment methods, pretty much any payment method that you can think of, you can take advantage of on local coin swap. You can do so without KYC. And again, if you're so uncomfortable with, you know, this particular method that I showed you, because I'm using TransferWise, just mind you, there's like hundreds, maybe there's like 1,000 payment methods on here. Find one where, you know, there's absolutely no personal information that you have to share, and maybe there's a bit of skill required. As I mentioned, like Revolut's good, Payoneer's good, Skrill, like there's tons where you don't have to give like any personal information whatsoever. I just happen to be using TransferWise a lot when it comes to these payments, so that's what I was showing you. So if you like local coin swap and you want to get a special discount on fees, use my referral link in the description down below, and I'll see you next time.